On to the divisional round now. My best bets: 3 out of the 4 games are rematch, and the home team in the playoff game won all of the regular season games. So to get things started on Saturday, the Texans plus 9.5 at the Ravens, over under 43.5. Kind of weird to think about, but these teams played in week one. The Ravens won 25-9, and it was, the Ravens were at home in this game. This is the same spread, the exact same spread as when they played in week one, which is, are they, obviously the Texans are a lot better than people thought, but are they saying the Ravens are a lot better than we thought they were going to be? Or is this because now the Texans have to go on the road into Baltimore, a very hostile place? Just weird thinking the spread is the exact same as the week one matchup. Um, but the last time we saw the Ravens as the number one seed in the playoffs, they lost in the divisional round to the Titans, 28-12. So that's something, a cause for concern. The last time they were in this spot, and everybody thought they were the Super Bowl front runner, they lost in the divisional round, and not a very close game. Derrick Henry ran all over them. He even threw a touchdown pass against them. But can the Texans continue to ride this momentum they have? They got a lot of momentum now. I mean, people last week, a lot of people didn't give them a chance. The week before that against the Colts, nobody really gave them a chance going on the road. I definitely didn't against the Colts, and I really thought the Browns were going to play a lot better last week, but they didn't. So all props to the Texans. But the Texans are playing free. All the pressure is on Lamar and the Ravens. How do they handle that? And on the flip side, the Texans defense, they have been playing good recently, but on the road this year, they've been a little up and down. They've had their moments. I wonder what Texans defense we get this week. And I think the key for the Texans is, can they stop the run? Obviously, going up against the Ravens, if you want a chance, you're going to have to stop the run. Otherwise, the Ravens are just going to, bleed the clock, control the momentum of the game, control the tempo, and then you're playing their game. And you do not want to play the Ravens game in Baltimore. And then on the flip side, can the Ravens defense get pressure on Stroud? I think the Ravens defense is going to be able to stop the run, but are they able to get Stroud off target, off platform, and maybe make him make a mistake or two that he hasn't done much this year, which is crazy because he is a rookie. I like the Ravens minus 9.5. I was back and forth on this all week, and I'm going to go with the Ravens minus 9.5. They're at home. They're experienced. They're experienced. They're at home, and I think the defense having basically an extra 2-3 weeks to prepare, because some of these guys didn't even play in week 17, so they've gotten the rest. They're healthy. Maybe they'll come out a little sluggish, but I don't really see that being an issue. They're at home. And like I said, what happened to them against the Titans, I think they've learned from that. I know some of those people aren't on this team anymore, but still, it's still in the organization. They're going to remember that. And like I said, all the pressure is on them. I think they come out fast, they play hard, and I think they jump out on the Texans pretty early. I do know the stat, though, that Lamar is 1-9 when a 7 or more point favorite. However, his only cover, ironically, was against the Texans in week one. I know it's hard to, beat a team twice, not only beat a team twice, but to cover against a team twice when the spread is this high. But I think the Ravens get it done. I think they're on a mission, and I think they come to play. I do think Stroud does play a good game, but I think he has 1 or 2 turnovers against a really good Ravens defense. For the second game on Saturday night, we've seen this matchup over and over again. It feels like the Packers plus 9.5 at the 49ers, over under 50.5. This is the only game that is not a rematch from the regular season this week. The 49ers have been the Packers' kryptonite in the playoffs. And the question is, can Jordan Love do it against a defense that is, not relying on turnovers, that doesn't play as much man as the Cowboys? Because, last week you watched that Packers game, Packers receivers are just running wide open. And I don't think that's, when a team plays zone, that's not going to happen unless there's a bust in coverage. I don't see that happening for the 49ers. They're a sound defense. They can get pressure. They can drop, they can drop 7. They can even drop 8 if they want and rush 3. I don't know how well the Packers' run game is going to go against this really good 49ers defense. They got a great front 7. I don't think the Packers are going to be able to run the ball. So it's all going to come down to Jordan Love and these young receivers, whether or not they can make plays. And, if the offensive line can give Jordan Love time to throw the ball like they did last week. They did a really good job last week against pressure from Dallas, but I don't think the 49ers are going to pressure. I think they're going to try to get home with their 4. And then for the Packers defense, what Packers defense shows up? I think that's the question throughout the playoffs, as long as they make it, is because their defense is so up and down. Like last week, I know once the Cowboys went on that run late, the Packers thought the game was over. They weren't playing as hard, but I mean, they played great defense, through the first real 3 quarters. And if they can play like that and stop the run, they have a legitimate chance. And if they can get off the field like they did last week against the Cowboys, when it's your third and 5, 3rd and 6 and longer, if they can get off the field, that's a huge win for them. But I like the 49ers minus 9.5. I'm taking both favorites on Saturday, both number 1 seeds to cover these big spreads. I just don't think the Packers are going to be able to give Love time. They're not going to have their receivers running wide open, and I think their run game isn't going to be able to get off the ground, which is going to kill their play action, which is what Jordan Love killed the Cowboys on last week. He was killing the Cowboys on play action, and I don't think that'll happen. And then also Shanahan having an extra week to prepare, the team being able to get more healthy, that's just dangerous. And I also think the way the 49ers lost to the Eagles last year, they're on a mission. I think they come out, they win this game, and if you're a Packers fan, I mean, you're happy, but it sucks that you're going to lose again in the playoffs to the 49ers. However, if the Packers are able to win this game, they got to be the favorite to make the Super Bowl. Devin Singletary under 61.5 rushing yards. He's over this line in 5 out of his last 6. However, last week he only had 13 carries and a blowout win against the Browns. He did end up hitting this number, but against a great Ravens defense that's coming off a lot of rest and a lot of game planning, I don't think 13 carries is enough touches for him, so I like him under 61.5. Christian McCaffrey over 89.5 rushing yards. The Packers have the 28th rush defense in the NFL. I like McCaffrey to get 20-plus carries, and the 49ers kind of impose their will on this Packers defense that has been up and down all season.